This is McCook's Mr. Bill. It's an honor to have you here. This news week, they've been talking about the near 100,000 children on our southern border. Starving children. It reminds me of when I was a very small child. A missionary came through from Africa, and he had been preaching the Word of God over there for so many years, and he would be going back. One of the things he mentioned was that there are thousands of children in Africa starving to death where he was. And I said, well, why don't we take up a collection and feed them? And he said, oh, you don't want to feed them. Don't ever feed them. And I had to ask the next question, why? If you don't feed them, they'll starve to death. And he said, if the land can't take care of those children when there are thousands, and then you feed them so they survive, they will breed, and instead of thousands there will be tens of thousands. In another generation, hundreds of thousands. In another generation, there will be millions. Millions of people starving to death in a land that couldn't support the thousands. When do you say enough? Or do you destroy the entire world feeding people that can't feed themselves? Fantastic concept. And throughout my life, I've been on both sides of that debate of should you feed children or shouldn't you? But these children aren't in Africa. They're on our border right now. Should they be fed? Absolutely. But differently than what the government wants to do. Differently than the corporations under the table that are planning to make billions from it. Different from the countries that sent them here. And under the table of that, billionaires trying to help destroy the United States. Around the world, they do. How would I do it? Very simple. I would take the 100,000 and I'd load them up on ships and I would take them to China. Why China? They can feed and house people astronomically cheaper. They can save almost 90% of the cost that it would be over here. 90% savings to the taxpayers. 90%. Just as China has offered to take our criminal prisoners and ship them over there, and they'll house them over there for $3,000 a year rather than the $30,000 here in the United States. 90% savings to the taxpayers. They could close all of the prisons across the United States. And those government jobs could go away. And the people would be safer with that in mind. And taxpayers would have more money for roads, bridges, and infrastructure. Or maybe just to pay off our own debt. Mr. Bill looks at the very cheapest, most economical way to take care of every problem, including children that are not our responsibility. I would also take any funds that are spent for that endeavor, and I would take it out of the funds that we're giving the United Nations and say, you're going to take the hit on this, since this is an international problem on our doorstep. It's McCook's Mr. Bill. Rate this film.
Well, anybody can do it once. Let's see if we can do it twice.
Go ahead, try it again. Pretty good shooting, kid.
Not bad.
Not bad.
You're an old lady.
Yeah.